This is the third time that I am doing this challenge. Inking a pen every day with a different ink. I am embarking on my February 2025 challenge, and I would like to take you along. This is Simone, your favorite neighborhood nerd, and I have not set up anything yet because I hadn't had the time to think about how I want to do this. And so I thought I would take you along. This is my new friend, Axolotl. I think he'll appear in all of my videos from now on. This is my 2025 ink journal. It is the new Sanzen Tomoe River paper. I haven't really had any bad luck with this paper just yet. We'll see how it evolves. Every month I am doing a title page, and then I just add pages as I go. So I have allocated a space for that title page because I haven't also thought about what that is going to be. And then I have looked at the previous challenges where I took a pen and an ink every day, swatched it, and inked the pen, put a writing sample into my journal. So the first time that I did this was in, I think, May maybe, of 2024. Yes, right here. I randomly pulled a sample out of my sample box and then picked a pen. That was quite a lot of fun. And then, but towards the end of the month, I realized that pulling inks randomly wasn't as exciting as pre-picking the ink samples, so that I would use the ones that I'm most excited about. And I also found that, by randomly selecting ink samples and pens, towards the end, sometimes the pens and inks don't match up as nicely as they did in the beginning. And so mapping out the whole month with samples and then matching the pen that I think might work best with that specific sample will ensure that the whole month is a really great experience. Then I wanted to do another one of those in September, but I just had gotten back from the San Francisco Pen Show and I realized, nope, September is not going to be the month. So I did another one in October. And yes, I missed out on participating in the community challenge, the 30 Inks 30 Days challenge every time. But I decided, it's so much fun to do this. I'm just going to be extra and special and do it whenever I feel like I can commit to it. And so that's exactly how I went about it. Now, October was much better. This is what it turned out to be. And so I thought, wow, I could do another round in February. And to be honest, I was not sure that I would actually commit to it until maybe 5 days ago, because I really enjoyed the pens that I had been using in January. And I can show you my currently inked right here. These were the pens that had been inked in December, October, January, November. So they had been a collection of inks and pens that had accumulated throughout the span of about 3 months. And towards the end of January, I realized that quite a few of them had needed to be cleaned, emptied out, and so last weekend, I embarked on a cleaning journey, and that left me with 5 pens, 2 of which I did not really enjoy the inks in them. And that made me really excited to actually commit. So I sat down one of the days and I had already picked the samples in November or December. And so I went through, sorted them by rainbow colors. I really love a rainbow, and so why shouldn't I do that? I sorted them by rainbow colors. I wrote them all down, and then I went about matching inks and pens. So I have all of my ink samples sorted. I have the pens right here that I'm going to use. I love how this first 10 days look like. This is such a satisfying look, in my opinion. All of these are those warm brown colors. And then the next half looks like this. I promise you, I did not intentionally do this, but especially when I'm looking for matching inks to pens to so many inks, I am more prone to match the color of the pen to the color of the ink than I usually am. That is not something that I normally look for, to match a pen with an ink, but when I have 28, I need to find criteria on why I'm using this specific pen with that ink. So these are the 20, and then I have the last 8 right here. Also, this is not sponsored by any means. This is the Benu Gourmet Pens collaboration, Dark Unicorn, and I just saw on Instagram that Aziza has opened pre-orders for the next batch that is coming in. She ordered them with Benu, placed an order, and you can go ahead and place your pre-order in her shop if you're interested in one of those. I really, really love how mine looks. So, yeah, just a community shout out to Gourmet Pens. Now, I have not really prepared anything besides, well, this is quite a lot of preparation, I agree, but I have not set up a monthly spread, and I've been looking at this last week and thinking about how do I want to go about it. So I have a divider every month, like this one here. That is going to be here. Then how do I do the monthly spread? If I put the monthly spread right here, then I won't really be able to use this side, most likely. And so I decided, you know what? I'm just going to take a spare piece of paper from the empty pages that are still in my Cosmo Airlight journal from 2024, take it out, and then make my monthly spread on here, not glue it in until the month is over. This way I can do this at the same time as I document the inks every day in my journal, and I can leave it out and it's not going to interfere. Now, as you can see, I have not done anything to this yet, so I thought this is something that we can do together. We could ink up the same pen. Same thing here. Do I use both pages? Like, I really like how this looks here, to have them move on along, but I don't think, assessing the back pages here, I don't think if I'm swatching inks on this paper, I will be able to write and, be able to actually gauge how the writing experience is on the backside of pages that look like this. So now the question is, do I do a full page spread, then skip 2 pages, and then do another one? I am having a really hard time doing this, even though it is the exact same thing as using this page, then this page, then this page. Right now, I'm gravitating towards using a full-size spread and then just skipping the pages. Let me know what your preference is in the comments down below. Not that I will be able to follow your recommendations, but I would just like to hear if your brains are weird like mine as well, and you feel like leaving 2 pages empty feels like more waste than putting your stuff on the same page. I don't know what's wrong. So I'm gonna set up the monthly just as I did in October. I'm just going to copy what I did here. I think I used a pencil and a ruler. Let me see. Or maybe I counted it. I don't know. Here's a metal ruler. Where is a pencil? I don't know. That is bad. Why am I not prepared? You might ask. Yeah, I am asking myself the exact same question. The only good thing about this is that I put the pencil back where it belongs. So even though I'm not prepared, I will be able to find what I'm looking for. So I left 3 spaces here, and then 1, 2, 3. So here, right? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't even know how many weeks there are in February. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Maybe that's something that I should figure out first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so I got this monthly February. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whew, works out. And I think I'm gonna stamp February here because I don't really need to. There's nothing going to be here on the back side, so it doesn't matter if the ink 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bleeds through or compromises the paper. None of that matters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I hope these are squares. Yeah, they look kind of like squares, so I hope they're true squares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Have you participated in any of those challenges yet? I'd love to know, because I'm nosy. We're joking at my work. Like, oh no, Simone, nosy? Not at all. She would never. But actually, being nosy is kind of like, maybe I shouldn't call it nosy. Maybe I should call it curious, because curiosity is what makes us as the humankind. That's how we develop, like how we became. Well, I shouldn't talk about it because it feels like most people aren't curious anymore. That's why we're making big steps backwards. And yes, if you're here to watch fountain pens, you will get sprinkled with a little bit of political opinion, because living is political. That's my opinion. And you're more than welcome to just skip out and move along to the next video on your list, if that's not something that you're comfortable with. But yeah, maybe I should call it I'm curious instead of being nosy, because curious, yeah, that's how things were invented, by being curious. Math, I believe, is curiosity in its purest form. So, have you participated in 30 Inks 30 Days challenges? I have heard several people are embarking on quite a few things this year, be it, using fountain pens and inks in certain different ways. One of my ink journal inspirations, Rebecca Logan, has started making videos again, and she is embarking on a really one of those challenges that I think are amazing, but that I definitely know are not for me. So she's made some, every month an ink has to be from this category. And then, I think she has 12 different categories for inks. Inks can be from quite a few different categories. An ink can match multiple categories, if I'm not mistaken, but they have to be from that category. I think they have to be chosen. Whatever many categories she has to have one of each category. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, what the heck? This is not even. Now, this is 3, and this is 3.5. This is 3.5. This is 3.5. You know what? It's fine. I can live with this. Can I, though? Can I really? I don't think so. I'm just going to add. Now I need to count again, because the problem is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. I'm cheating, but I think I can't live with this. Sorry. Yeah, and then the pens also have to come from various different categories. And I think the motivation behind Rebecca's challenge is to make sure that she's using everything that she has this year. Which is definitely a reason why I am embarking on this February challenge as well. But during the past year, I have learned that I don't want to lock myself into specific challenges for the whole year, because then it becomes boring for me. And by being open to various forms of challenges, and maybe even not challenges, just using the things that I have and not locking myself into a certain way of doing things, I have found that I am able to have more fun. And that's basically what I want to have with my fountain pens most of the time. So let me do what I've done there. I hope this is not too boring. Is there anything that I want to talk about while I'm doing this? I don't know. That's weird. Well, I'm not almost done, but I just thought of something. I have decided not to count my ink samples this year, not to keep track of them. And the reason for that is simply that it doesn't really serve any purpose besides the fact that I might get anxious about the number that I own. And I do not want to feel anxious about that at all. There's no reason to feel any type of feel about the amount of ink samples that I own. I don't know. That's the problem with the traps. So that's why, my mind is really weird sometimes, and maybe yours is too. So I'm just sharing what I'm noticing about how I am trapping and locking myself in sometimes very arbitrary rules or stats that I'm keeping track of that don't serve a purpose per se. Like, why does it matter if I have 200 samples or 5? Who holds me accountable, and what is the problem? Like, why would it matter? To me, it matters that I'm using them, that I have fun with them, that at some point I would love for them to get used. And yes, of course, that is more likely to be able to do if I have less samples than more. But I have learned through this past year that it doesn't really matter to me how many ink samples I have, and that by keeping track of the number, the only thing that happens is that I get anxious about the number. And that's not something that I want to feel about ink samples. I don't want to have those feelings. And to me, anxiety is not necessarily a positive feeling most of the time. So why do I want to feel anxious about these samples? They most likely, 99% of the samples that I'm using bring me joy. And so attaching a negative feeling to these joyful experiences that I'm having with samples just isn't serving me well. And so I decided to stop counting in the beginning of 2025. And so far, it's going well. So, wait, we need to number this whole thing. So 28 is the amount of days that we have in February of 2025. I am using, this pen that I am using is a TWSBI Mini AL in silver. I replaced my black one because the section started kind of like peeling like an onion, and I'm not sure what exactly the reason for that is. So I decided, you know what, I should not experience this with this aluminum section, and so I broke my own rule by spending more money on a TWSBI again. It's okay if this is the last one. My nib, the nib that I have on here, is just so good and so precious to me. I want to recreate it at the San Francisco Pen Show in 2024, and I brought a Platinum 3776 with me, but it just isn't the same. And so I decided, I want to keep and prolong the life of this nib as long as I can. And so I invested in this. And yes, I could move it to a TWSBI Eco, but actually I really like the feel and weight of this TWSBI Mini in my hand. And so that's what I'm using. The ink that is in here is De Atramentis Document Black. I-23. I hope I didn't make any mistakes because, that happens. Because counting numbers and talking at the same time is not something that is easily done for me. 26, 27, and 28. Let's just check before Friday. Yeah, I did it. I did it correctly. Awesome. So, I am swatching these ink samples. Well, no, I'm actually doing the exact same thing. So I am inking my pen, and then I'm logging the pen and ink combination here. In October, I sent postcards. This year, I am just trying to put 28 journal entries into my journal. That's all. No other commitment involved here. I want to be able to keep what? 28. See, that's the problem with talking and writing. 28 journal entries. Yes. So adding another element to this challenge is not beneficial for me. I would like to stay caught up in my creative journal. I would like to continue catching up on my pen pal letters so that I do not cross the 1 year mark. You heard it correctly. And what else? So journal entries sounds good. I still haven't filmed my Techo Kaigi for 2025, but this, not sure why exactly I was drawn to using this, but I'm so glad. This is a 2024 Hobonichi Hon, and I am just looking at the dates here and filling in the pages. This is my daily journal. I am trying to write 1 page per day. I'm not upset about if I'm skipping days. I happen to read the poem of the day. You can actually subscribe to get sent a poem of the day. I happened to read this and thought it was so good that I just sat down and copied it in here to fill in the blank page. But I'm totally fine with filling this in. It's so much fun. I'm so excited for having the 2024 Sanzen paper. I knew this book wouldn't go to waste, but I didn't think I would be so excited about having old Sanzen paper in my stash to enjoy. So I am swatching the ink on here. In the front, this is my bottle collection here, where I write a sentence about the pen and ink combination every time I use one of my bottled inks. And in the back, I am swatching all the inks that I use. Samples, bottles, doesn't matter, to be able to actually look at them and compare them. This one, I think I did kind of wrong. Every ink that had a tiny bit of green in it, I put here, but I think I went a little bit overboard. Some of them would probably rather be on the blue part, but that doesn't matter. It's mine. I used to have this. This was an older Hobonichi Techo Avec from, I don't know what year. I don't even know if you can decipher it from here. No, the year is not written on here as either. 2021, maybe. 2020, maybe. And I took out the pages so that I could punch holes and put it in here so that I can access these more easily. If I want to swatch more than just one color, I don't have to wait until the pages are dried so that I can flip them around. I can take them out. So this is one of my swatch binders. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swatch them on here. I'm going to use them here and then to log the ink and pen combination here. And then I am also swatching the ink on here. So let's do just that. This is the first one. Then this is the second page. What was this? This was where the monthly goes. And this is the first one. So let's do it, right? Let's just go ahead and do it. So I need this down here. Then I actually use this side. I just like it really plain. So it is Saturday, February 1, 2025. Guess whose birthday it is today? Yup, mine. So here, the ink that I'm using, these two are, you can see those right here. These two are laying on their sides because they don't fit nicely in here, and then the lid doesn't close. But Red Robin goes here, Seize the Night goes here. This one is Mont Blanc Alfred Hitchcock. I'm using my INKED Octopus that I purchased at the San Francisco Pen Show. I love this thing. I forgot to bring out my utensils. I'm using one of those pipettes right here. These pens are in the way. I need to put them away. I am using my Pilot Custom 74 with an 14 karat medium nib. This is the oldest gold nibbed pen that I own. Oldest, like, you know, the one that I own for the longest time. And what else? I need... Nope. Here's the stuff that I need for swatching. I think I want to also use a brush. This is a Swink. My friend Wendy Sue, Fountain Pen News. She's been everywhere. Everybody knows her. I hope you know her too. If you do not, I would highly recommend checking out her channel. She is amazing. So many ideas. So enthusiastic about everything. And that's what makes it so much fun to hang out with her. I think I want to put one of those stickers on top of this. You know what? I'm going to do the same thing for this one as well. That's the two only samples that do not have one of those color coding things here yet. And I also want to pull out my brush. This is all the stuff that I'm going to use. Why is this bent out of shape? And I will actually move all of my supplies over to my standing desk so it's set up and ready for me to go when I am during the week, so I can actually do this in the morning before work. I love doing that. I'm going to put this here so I'm not putting my hand over here. I want to use my brush so I can pull out a little bit of water over here because that's just what I like. So, where do I start? This is going last, so this can go to the side. I think I'm swatching first. Oh, it's already swatched here. So it's a dark burgundy red with green sheen or golden sheen maybe. So I don't need to add this here, but I will check every day that I'm using my samples. I will check if they are already logged in this book. All right, so then I don't know who sent the, oh, is this? Yes, this was sent by my friend Soap Turtle. let's see what happens if we put this in here. Yup, works. Well, not that well. I am not going to go for full fills most of the time, just enough that there is some ink in the converter. And then I need a paper towel. That would be awesome if I had one. All right. Add this right here. And then put on the cap. Then let's swatch first. The pipette. I actually, one dot, in my opinion, is enough here. And I really don't know what I want to do for my February title page yet, which is kind of annoying. So, and this is a good indicator as well on how well the paper holds up to this. If I might be able to. No, I'm just not going to, because I think also for social media purposes, it's easier to be able to see the ink on the, just like, you know, on the page like that. Is there any inks that you think this looks similar to? Doesn't seem like it's pulling out any color right now. I mean, let's see. Robert Oster, Old Book Smell. Bah Humbug is very similar in color. It's almost, this seems to be drier, but this has also been written with a dip pen. We'll see how it behaves in the Custom 74. Bah Humbug, this looks a little bit more blue actually than Bah Humbug, but maybe I'm just looking at this all wrong. Sailor Manio Ume is redder for sure. That's all there is, I guess, to compare right now. The next ink tomorrow is Mont Blanc Le Petit Prince. I wonder if they're almost the same, if not the same. Oh, I meant to color this as well. No, I think it's darker. What do you think? I think Le Petit Prince is more red than this is more blue. But we'll see. So then because it's an ink, I picked the inks first, then match the pens. I like to put the ink first. There we go. Mont Blanc. Alfred Hitchcock. And the ink is, the pen is, I actually feel like the grid is so big that I don't need to leave that much space. Pilot Custom 74 in burgundy. With a medium 14 karat gold nib. I did not do this last time, but I feel like it would be interesting to see just, you know, the line width and stuff like that, because this is nice, but this is also nice. Let's just check the wetness too. So, and then I usually write however much I think I want to write. I think in October, let me pull out that book again, because I think there were some things that I was talking about specifically, not maybe in the first one, I think I talk about how I like the color, how I like the color in the pen, how the which means what do I think about the flow? What do I how does the nib and how do they communicate with each other? And then I talk about how I feel about the pen in general, how the writing feels. Of course, always tainted by the flow of the ink. Because sometimes a pen, when it writes really, really wet, you won't notice how uncomfortable it is in your hand when you write this tiny paragraph. That will come out when you write maybe a page or two. Then an uncomfortable pen with a wet ink will become more noticeable. But how I feel about the pen in general. And then, of course, if it's a pen that feels completely weird, that I feel doesn't appeal to me at all, I will note that. Or if I love it, but it's uncomfortable, things like that, I will write down and see how they, work. So that's what I'm going to do. Let's quickly, let me think and gather my thoughts. This is a dark red, wine leaning color, with a greenish sheen. I really like how it matches the pen. The ink flows nicely from the nib. Actually, sorry, I just got a call. So let's continue. The ink flows, wow, nicely from the nib. Actually, I don't know, you can cap. Do I like it capped more? Did I cap it before? All inks I have had in this pen worked. Oh my gosh, smudging some more. Extremely well. I love it. I love this pen so much. The nib is very smooth, but it doesn't skate over this paper, which I actually prefer. I am one of those few people that like sans and paper more than original Tomoe River paper, for that fact that it has a tiny bit of tooth and those really smooth nibs. For me, this is all my opinion and all my feelings and experiences, but those really smooth nibs, and especially pilots, are like that. And sometimes some of the Euro nibs, when they're too smooth, I like that there is this tiny bit of tooth here that helps me have better control over this nib, but it doesn't skate over this paper. The grip section is a little narrow, but not uncomfortable. So, and then I can't remember what the gradings were. Ink, flow, and pen. Okay, ink. I hate when this thingy majiggy bob piece here slides out. I don't like that. I do not. This is, maybe I need grid paper, but also I really like how this looks with the white. Or actually blank, it doesn't matter what color. So, but oh my god. So ink. It's nice. Do I want to buy it? No. So I guess every ink that I would buy a bottle of gets a 10. So I would put this as an 8. We'll see. This is the first one. Then flow. The flow is definitely a 10. And then the pen. So last year when I did this, I noticed that my ratings for ink and flow went really quite good, well over the whole spectrum from 1 to 10. But my pens, they would all be 8s, 9s, and 10s. Well, actually 9s and 10s, I believe. I'm not sure if that is due to the fact that I'm really getting rid of all of the pens that don't work well for me. So maybe that is the translation into numbers of how my collection is evolving. But I would love to see a bigger distribution. But I don't know how to do this with numbers. That's the problem with the numbers. That I always feel like I would need a description. Okay, for ink, from 1 to 10, how I need criteria to rank these in the numbers. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm taking 1 point off for, I usually prefer number 6 nibs. So this is a number 5. The section is very narrow, so that would bump me down to an 8. I really like, did you know that I loved non-traditional flat tops pens better than cigar shapes, and now this has somehow turned. So yeah, an 8. Let's do an 8 and see how that works, and then see what happens over the next week. I think what I'm going to do moving forward with this challenge is I will check in every Saturday. Unfortunately, because I don't have a lot of time in my days anymore, I only am able to film 1 video per week, plus my snippets from my desk video on Sundays. And so I'm not sure what other kind of videos. So basically, if I'm checking in every week, all the other videos are more or less on hold until I'm done with this challenge. Yeah, if I find some time to film more, I will, but I'm not going to, again, this is something that I need to protect my time. And so I thought that's where I'm going to cut out some of the time that I spend on YouTube. I feel kind of conflicted about this, but I'm going to try and see how it works for now. This is, I'm so glad I switched from Cosmo Airlight to Tomoe River paper. This pen and ink feels so differently on this paper. So this ink is Mont Blanc. I already said it. But yeah, my thought is I will check in every Saturday and update you on the process, how it's going, what pens and inks don't work out. This last October, what ended up happening is that all the pens and inks that I really enjoyed using stayed inked, and everything else that didn't work, didn't look good, that I just didn't enjoy, I would clean on a weekly basis. And that pared it down really well. And then I had pens and inks that I used all the way through the end of January. Pilot, custom, 74 in medium. Alrighty, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your challenges are for this year. How do you do your pens and inks this year? Are you changing things up? Are you doing the same thing because it works well? There's nothing wrong with that at all. I like to spruce things up, I have learned, and that's how my February is going to go. I hope to see you again soon. Until then, bye.